Hey, what's up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in to the Water Bearer podcast. And we are on episode 8. I can't believe it. Already 8 episodes into season 2. So it's been a really great ride so far. After this episode, there are only 2 more left of the season. So if you have not already done so, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so that you can enjoy future content that we have here on the show. And the more subscribers, likes, comments, and things that we get, just helps us to be able to grow and be in the face of people like you who are tuning in and enjoying the show tonight. Also, you can catch the drip, basically means catch the show or watch the show every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so after these next 2 episodes, the last one will end. The last episode will be that first week in August, and then we'll return after about a 2 month break on October 5th. I don't know why I'm saying we because it's just me, but y'all get the point. Me and my guests will return. So, also, if you want to follow, besides on YouTube, you can also follow me on TikTok at Poetic7 or on Instagram at Poetic. You can follow me there. And so we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. So tonight's episode is called We've Got Something in Common. So both of my guests are Leos. So we're right around the corner from Leo season. And I have something in common with them because although I'm an Aquarius, if you're into the sun sign and moon rising, basically kind of the big three of astrology, I have a Leo moon and also a Leo rising, which I did not know until recently. So we're going to get into that. But before I bring the guests on, we always kick off the show with a famous Aquarius. And this season, we've also been doing famous zodiacs of the guests as well. So a famous Aquarius you may not know is, or may not know that this person's an Aquarius, you definitely know him, is Dr. Dre. He is an Aquarius. And a famous Leo is Mick Jagger. So don't know if y'all are aware of that, but he is a Leo and definitely extremely famous, him and Dr. Dre. So gonna pop in and give a little bit for those you may be just watching this show for the first time. So just want to give a brief synopsis of how this show got started. So I did another podcast called the Brown Liquor and Cigars podcast a little over a year ago. We had about a 3-year run. One of our last episodes, we talked about relationships and getting angry and how do you handle conflict in relationships. So I said, if I'm upset, I like to kind of retreat a little bit because I don't want to say anything right off the bat that might be hurtful or just escalate the argument or the situation. And so the other 2 guests on the show, they said, well, how long would you need to take? And I said, well, I don't know. It depends on the situation. It might be an hour. It might be a day if it's something more serious. And then I don't know what possessed me to say 5 days. When I said 5 days, all hell broke loose. I started getting all these hate messages and people were like, oh, well, that's probably why you're single because you're taking 5 days to respond to people. And I'm not saying that I'm mute during the 5 days. I never said that. I just said that I may need 5 days to fully address the situation and have like a really in-depth conversation about it. So some people understood it, some of them didn't. But I later learned after some research and seeing things online that apparently that's an Aquarius trait, specifically with the males. A lot of Aquarius males get a bad rap for being emotionally detached in relationships or perceived to be emotionally detached or not showing emotion. So something I've heard a couple times in relationships. I said, okay, maybe there's something to this. So I started this podcast. Water Bear Podcast, of course, is Aquarius centered, but it also interacts with all of the other 11 signs of the zodiac. So we can find out all of our traits, our likes, dislikes. And at the end of the day, it's really a show that hopefully will help you be able to navigate people and relationships better. Because I feel like when you know what makes somebody tick, then you kind of know how to deal with them a little bit better. So that's how the show got started. But for my guest this evening, so first up, I have Lisa Salinas. So I've known Lisa now for about, I'd say maybe 3 years or so through Instagram. She is so cool. I envy her vacation life. We'll talk about that on the show too. It seems like she's like always on the beach or something. She works super hard too. You know, she's a mom. I mean, so I need to figure out, I need to get some tips from her on how I can work in this travel lifestyle in my schedule like she has. But she is like super, super cool. One of the coolest Leos I know. Also, another Leo, of course, on the show tonight is Durant Searcy. So this may be a little known fact for some of you, those that are close to me, you know this, but Durant is a singer and he is local here in Dallas. Also, Durant, I was featured on one of his songs, and that was a really, really great experience. Please don't forget about me. We did a music video. I was like actually in the studio. So that was my first time being featured on a professionally recorded song. So that was a really, really dope experience. So make sure that you check out his music and make sure that you follow him. I'll be flashing up where to follow both of them. Actually, I'll go ahead and put up that information now. So this is where you can follow Lisa on IG. And here's the information where you can follow Durant on IG as well. And then you can also make sure you stream and listen to his music. And we'll be talking about that too. So without further ado, I will go ahead and bring both of them on.
What's going on, sir?
Hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, Lisa. Hey, Durant.
Hey.
How are y'all?
I'm good. If I'd have known you're going to put the IG down there, I would have just put Durant in my always extra. That Leo thing. Always extra.
Hey. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But no, thank you both so much for joining and being on the show tonight. I really, really appreciate it. And true to form, every episode, you don't have to give the year if you don't want to. But before we get started, if you both could give your birthday, at least the month and the day. So Lisa, I'll start with you.
Okay, so I'm actually not afraid to say my age. So I am August 3rd of 1978.
Okay.
Wow. I'm actually July 28th and I'm 1981, so I'll be 42.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so that's an interesting dynamic. Okay, so y'all just gave me the first topic that we could talk about. So I've talked about this with several people when I've had maybe two people of the same sign on shows this season, last season. And even if it's one of the same sign I've had on the show, I'm always curious to get people's take on this. So is there a difference, or do you all think there's a difference between July Leos and August Leos?
I can't speak for all, but I know that the ones that I know they're in August, because I have a nephew who's August 9th. So I can kind of speak on, him. They're a lot more people type Leos. They're ones that want to be in the mix. They want to be the center of attention. Well, he wants to be in the mix. He wants to be in the center of attention. I am more laid back Leo. Like, I don't really prefer to be the life of the party or in the mix of everything. So I think that's a little different, but I don't know. I can't, like I said, I only speak for me and the experience I have with my nephew who's a Leo.
Okay.
All right. So I can definitely agree with that one. So I think we're just more extroverted, but introverted in the same kind of way too. So yeah, I definitely would agree with that.
Okay. So you say more extroverted. Okay. And I always love asking this question to everybody that's on the show too. So if you had to pick, like, let's say you were making a Leo flashcard for somebody, what would you put as the top two things that make people love Leos, and then the top two things that make people say, I don't know if I want to deal with a Leo. What would those things be? And Durant, I'll start with you.
The top two things that'll make someone fall in love with me, I think. Is that what you ask?
Yeah.
My mind. I would say one being creative. And the reason I say that, I'm a singer, songwriter, performer, whatever. And I've done a lot of shows where people have gravitated to me after the show and they want to get to know me. They want to date you. And then when they realize that you're a regular person, then they're not as interested. So people gravitate to that creativity. Yeah. So the creativity, people fall in love with. And I have been told, I don't know for sure, but I'm very romantic. And so I'm the type who likes to really, like, instead of going out on a date to eat, I have a plan, a whole agenda, because it's like a performance to me. So a lot of people say that they like that about me. But as far as not like, I don't know what you cannot like about a Leo or this Leo. But people do say that I am a little egotistical. And I don't agree with that completely, because when it comes to ego, my ego is in the professional realm. I'm always able to separate or turn it off when it comes to my personal relationships. So I would say egotistical and attention seeking. And I said the difference between July and August. There is a level of attention seeking for me as well. Like I said, I'm a performer, but I'm the type who likes to be on the stage. I will be the center of attention on stage, but after I get off stage, please leave me alone, please, because I'm shy off stage. So I would say those will be the two that, as far as dislike.
Okay. And Lisa, what would you say?
I would definitely say leadership skills is one. And two, I would say I am very attention oriented, like attention detail oriented. So if I have a significant other, I'm going to pay attention to the things that they like. So I don't know about you guys in Dallas, but here in Chicago, we celebrate Sweetest Day. So last year for Sweetest Day, I got my boyfriend at the time the 5 different senses. So like, I got him, hearing, sight, vision, like all different, gifts that I knew that he wanted, that things that he just wouldn't buy for himself.
That's cool.
So yeah, and so I gave him everything like that. But again, like, he liked to take baths. So I bought him CBD bath bombs. He wanted nice comfy clothes just for the touch. And so I bought him these, really nice jogging pants that he wanted. And cologne for smell, and just different things like that I had listened to like throughout the year, and then put everything all together. The one thing I will say, like, that is probably a turnoff or a downside to being a Leo, which I agree with Durant, like, who could not like a Leo, but whatever.
Right?
I know, right? Who doesn't like us? I mean, yeah, I don't know. But I would definitely say, I kind of like what you were touching on earlier, Carlos, was I tend to, when I get upset or whatever, I tend to retreat. So I don't want to talk. I don't want to whatever. Okay. You have to give me my time to get over that. And sometimes it takes a while. So I'm not like you. I can't take like a week or two or whatever. I sometimes take months.
Oh, Lisa, I needed you on that show. You would have helped me out so bad on that show. I mean, so good on that show. Because I'm telling you, I was the in between, and Durant can tell you because he used to watch the show too. I was the in between. It depends. I was kind of like the nice guy of the show until that episode. I was so glad we were about to be done. I was like, okay, now I get to leave on this note, and I don't have to do too many more episodes with me being the bad guy.
And I would definitely say, like, the other thing would be, because Leos are so leadership oriented, having anybody try to help them in any sort of way is kind of like, you don't allow that, right? So I'm a single mom, so I take on all of the things around my house, and at work I'm the boss, and so I come home and it's just like, you're just getting things done. And so like, you get into a relationship with somebody and they want to help out, but at the same time, you're just so used to doing everything on your own that it's just like, no, I don't need you. You know what I mean? Like, I just need you to sit here and look pretty, and I'm just going to do everything and run around like a crazy woman, So
you say what, Durant?
I don't know about that part. No, you can help me.
Oh, you're welcome to help.
Yes. Please.
Like, I'm that woman who's like has like a 500-pound couch and she's trying to pull it in and her boyfriend's trying to help her, and I'm like, get out of my way, just stand away. I got this.
And you won't let him help?
And I'll be struggling, but yeah.
Oh wow. Well, that's interesting that again, the part about the months, because one thing I was going to say is and Durant, I don't know if you're the same way in conflict, but I'm just curious because I know from what I've read, Leo and Aquarius are sister signs of the zodiac. So it's interesting to me because I feel like as much as I do like to retreat sometimes in a situation where maybe there's conflict, sometimes I will say it has taken the other person who may not be so much like me to come out of my shell and say, okay, well, it's okay to talk about this now, or let's talk about it. So in that regard, when you have potentially two people who are like, hey, I'm in retreat mode, then would you get angry after a certain period of time if the other person's like, hey, about this thing that happened like in March, we still need to talk about it? Or are you just like, I still need my time? Or how does that work?
Well, immature young Durant would probably have left somebody, or just kind of, that relationship would be over if I have to wait on you to talk about it. But mature Durant, I can understand somebody being like that because you don't want to argue in a moment. Me, it just it hits me. I want to get it out. It's over for me. But I can understand somebody who wants to take some time. But with me, you have to communicate. That's what it is. But in order for me to handle that. So if you tell me, hey, I just need 5 days or 3 days or whatever, or if you just say I need a day, then I ask you about it the next day, I need another day. After that, I probably won't ask about it anymore. I'll probably be done forgot about it. So
what was I mad about?
What? Hold on. Why were you not talking to me again? No. But if it's just communicated how somebody deals with things, then I'm willing to work with that. But if it's just like screaming at me, or just disappearing without letting me know what it's all about, then that's when I'm kind of like, I shut down and I'm just like, it's over.
Wow. Okay. All right. Lisa, how do you feel? Is it kind of the same or different or what?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think like you said, like, the mature person, like, like you had touched on some things earlier, and it said, you said, just being able to digest this, the issue, right? And not wanting to speak from anger, right? So that's part of my thing is why I retreat is, let me take some time to get out what I want to say, because obviously I've learned with age that once it comes out from my tongue, it's over with, right? I've said it, I can't take it back. So part of my thing is, trying to pull back and say, okay, let me just kind of put everything together, what I want to say and how I want to say it, and not saying it in a mean, hurtful way, but say it from a place where, hey, you did hurt me, or whatever the issue may be. But like I said, I mean, that's part of my biggest thing is retreating, is just to try to gather my thoughts together and being able to express those things without being mean or hurtful.
I think that's why it's easier for me to discuss it at the moment, because even when I'm angry, I'm very conscious of what I say to people. And so even like I've had friends for about 30 years, and I always brag about how we never have like those knockdown dragouts anymore, because even in the midst of an argument, we respect each other. Like, for instance, I don't ever call any of my friends out of their names. And even if I'm mad, I'm conscious of what I say. I don't want to say anything. And so some people don't have that same control. So I understand that if they need more time. And then some people, like me, we just are able to get it out without pretty much hurting people's feelings. And I think I'm one of those people who have kind of, adjusted and made that a part of my personality. So
hey, I'm trying to get there. I'm right on the fence. I'm evolving to that, I feel. But man, because I'm telling you, like maybe as recent as maybe even a couple of years ago, my confrontation style, and people are always so shocked when I say this, because it takes a lot to get me to that point. But I feel like, or I used to feel like, if you said something that was a trigger or did something that was a trigger to me, then my natural response is, okay, then now I have to trigger you back. And then, which that's not healthy, because then the other person is triggered again. And then it's just this ping pong back and forth of kind of not who's going to have the last word, I guess, but just this,
who's going to be the most hurtful, I guess.
Yeah. Which is not good. It's not good.
But to me, I'm really big on, even if you're mad at me or whatever the case may be, whatever you say is how you feel about me. So when people say stuff out of anger, it's no going back for me. It's no, I was drunk. It was no, I was upset. No. So I prefer somebody to think about it. But then on the top of my head, I'm thinking like, what do you mean 5 days? What you trying to hide from me that you really feel about me? That you trying to, you're trying to figure out how you gonna say it.
So it's no winning.
It's got no winning for me. Like, what you really think about me? It's like you're trying to find a way to say it nicely to me.
Right.
I don't like that. So I feel like
I promise you, that's not what I'm thinking.
Okay. And see, me neither, Lisa. I feel the same way. I'm not.
Well, Carlos, you always say though, I don't want to say something that's gonna hurt you. So it's like you're thinking something about them that you know will hurt them. So it's like, what you thinking, bro?
Well, I just feel like it's because I believe like it's not a lot of times what you say, but how you say it. And I'm the type of person that's like, really, even though I'm stubborn and headstrong or whatever you want to call it, if you present it to me in the right way, I've had friends, or even like in relationships and things like that, like I've done things or maybe conceded to things that normally I wouldn't do, but because the person came to me in a way and they presented it like, okay, well, the way you presented that to me, like, cool, like I understand, I'll go with it. And I think one of the biggest mistakes I used to make in relationships, especially like in my marriage, and I think, to be honest, it was both ways, because I venture to say my ex-wife probably did a little bit of this too, was, and I just learned this like maybe within the last year, I feel like, but what I used to do was, I guess, kind of punish people for things that they did to me, and I never told them that it was offensive. So I'm making this running tab in my head of all these things, and then something just breaks, and then I just blow up. And I mean, not blow up like violent or anything, but blow up to the point where...
But is it really something, is it tabs of hurtful stuff? Because the reason I ask this is because even when I hurt somebody and they don't tell me, I know that I said, or if I know I said something wrong, I know. They don't have to tell me that I said something that was hurtful. I will know, and that will make me go apologize to them. So is it kind of like one of those things where they...
Well, and it's funny you say that, because I kind of like to think that people know when they hurt you, or when they offend you. And I think that was the mindset that I had, was that, well, I shouldn't have to tell you, because you should know me well enough to know that XYZ wasn't cool what you did. But I still feel like now, even if I know that person has the emotional intelligence to know that they hurt me, it's still my job to tell them, because at that point, then now I'm holding you accountable for what you did. Because if I don't say anything, then there's no accountability, because it's like they don't know that they hurt you.
Yeah, because even though I know, I don't know every time. Like I can say something.
Yeah,
It's been times when I've been with you. It's been times when I've been with you, or hung out with you or went to something, I'm just like, did I hurt? Was that too much? Because I've always felt like I said some stuff. Like, I do that around everybody.
Even if it was after the fact.
Yeah, I do that when I like now, especially with the pandemic. I feel like I've kind of retreated. My personality is kind of retreated. Like I've been performing all my life. I've become afraid to be on stage and everything. And so when I'm around people now, I feel like crap when I leave because I'm like, did I say something stupid? Because I'm just constantly just in my head thinking that I've said something that was just weird or just off. So maybe that's just me. Just weird little.
No, I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
Really?
I will like replay a conversation in my head. Like, did I really offend this person? Like, because, I mean, I think for me, because I'm a BSer and I talk a lot of junk and I manage, quite a few men at work. Right. And so I just talk a lot of junk. And then I think to myself, like, whoa, did I take it too far there? Like, are they going to be like, are their feelings going to be hurt about something? And sometimes they are. And sometimes I have to come back and apologize, but yeah. So, I mean, I get it. We're overthinkers too.
Yeah,
very much.
And Lisa, I want to, if you're comfortable sharing it, do you mind sharing what you do for work? Because I think that plays a big part in what you just said about the male ego and, roles, or if you don't want to say it, it's cool.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Okay.
So I work for a utility industry, here in Chicago. And I manage, 14 union guys. So again, we're a utility company. So I'm a substation, supervisor. So southeast side of Chicago, anything like within the fences. So transformers, big equipment like that. That's kind of what my group kind of, maintains.
Okay.
So, and builds. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, and not to sound sexist at all. So, please don't take it that way.
No.
But I can imagine in your industry, the stereotype, and in a lot of industries, the stereotype is it's male driven. But I would think you probably catch that more than the average woman that's maybe in corporate America or like 9-to-5, like business type or office business type job, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
It could be my ego thing because I'm at a point where I'd rather have a female boss than a male boss. I don't want a man telling me what to do. That's just me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. It definitely is not a role for somebody with thin skin.
Okay.
Like a majority of them have issues because I've never turned a wrench. Most of them have issues because I'm a woman. And by turning the wrench, I mean like never have done their job before.
Right.
But in corporate America, I mean, they're truly believing like if you have these, leadership skills, right, then you're able to manage anybody. And that's kind of where the company that I work for, I was grateful that they had given me an opportunity. I was the first girl in the Chicagoland area to take on the substation, supervisor role.
Wow.
So, and actually, I think I am still the only female in substation. So, I mean, we have a couple more that have, kind of moved in a little bit, but not into kind of like what I do. So yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely not for the faint at heart.
Wow. And I'd say I kind of agree with you, Durant, about the whole female boss. I've had mainly female bosses in my career just by default. I used to work in supply chain at Frito-Lay for almost 10 years. Most of my bosses there were female. And the male bosses that I've had, luckily, they were great male bosses. But I feel like with guys, and Lisa, I don't know if you feel the same way with women too. I feel like there's a lot of times this underlying competition. So in a work setting, with male bosses, again, not so much with the ones I've had, but I've seen and heard a lot of situations where it kind of begins to be this who's better than who match type thing. Whereas with female bosses, it's something I've never had to worry about.
I've actually not had a bad experience with a guy, a manager, or anything like that. I don't know why I think
Really?
like that. I've never
Huh.
had a that I could think of in my adulthood. No, but I
Hmm.
just prefer women. That's that's how it
See, now
ain't.
that's interesting because I would prefer a man as my boss.
Really? You would?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Huh.
I feel like just like how you said with the men, kind of
Oh.
competition, it's the same thing with women, right? It's just
Mhm.
like, okay, well, who's gonna tell who to do what or who knows their job better or, so I definitely do not I've had, women bosses here in, in this industry and I've always just clicked better with male bosses than I have with a female boss. Like I've only had two female bosses in the 10 years that I've been there. So I mean, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay, cool, cool. So we'll switch gears just a little bit. So I just wanted to share with y'all and with the viewers and the listeners. Um, like I said, I didn't know about this whole rising moon thing with the zodiacs. I'm like, all I know is I'm an Aquarius and that's it. And then it's just this never-ending wheel of all these other layers to it. So
Yeah.
um what was interesting to me though was when I looked up like the Leo rising and the Leo moon, um, it wasn't that far off from what I see for the Leo sun sign. I just felt like it was a little maybe more toned down in some areas. So, like for Leo rising, uh, one of the things it says is that it's an individual who's confident, strong willed, and determined, which I feel like the Leo sun sign is that way too. And it says they often have a natural charisma that draws people in, and they are usually quite popular. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I know a lot of people, but I don't consider myself popular, if that makes sense. Um,
Mm.
and then for like the another thing they say about like the moon sign is they say that um it goes as far as to saying there people with this trait have certain faces, like oval shapes and a yellow tint to their eyes. I'm like, isn't that jaundice? I'm like, I don't want that.
I
Like what is
thought
that?
I thought the moon was more like your inner you, your inner self, like your emotions and your moods. I thought that's what
Mhm.
the moon meant.
Yeah, yeah. So that was you're right because the rising said that, and then the moon said that um Leo moon is like bold, brave, and
Hmm.
unapologetically bright.
I haven't
So
read mine. Mine is my moon is in Cancer. I have my
oh,
moon,
okay.
Mercury, Mars are in Cancer, so I have a
Oh,
lot of Cancer in there. Yeah,
wow. Okay, so you
yeah,
kind of like me, like you have a lot of another sign within your
yeah. It's Cancer.
big
My
three.
rising is Libra. I just read on that recently, and I didn't know that the rising is pretty much your social personality, which kind of made
Oh,
sense because one thing that stood out when
okay.
I read about it was we desire peace at all costs, and that's definitely me. Like I want
Hmm.
peace. That's the main thing I'm talking about. Peace, peace, peace. Like even when it comes to like arguments, like we can talk about it. I don't want to argue. I don't want to scream. Can we just talk
Just
about it?
have
I don't
peace.
want to. Yeah, it's at all costs. If that means I need to stop talking to you, and I'll
Right, to
do
get
that.
the
Because
peace. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, if we can't solve an issue, if we can't solve an issue with if we can't solve an issue in our normal tones, it ain't gonna work for me because it just makes me nervous. My heart start beating fast, and I just feel like I'm going crazy. I just need peace. So I try my best. I think that's why I try my best to make people feel good or do my best to respect people because I really
Mm,
want
mhm.
to be respected because I just again peace at all costs. So
Right, right.
that really did describe me to the T with the rising sign.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, because I definitely agree with that with Libra. I know at least as far as the sun sign, they like balance, and if they don't have it, it's not good. It's just it
Yeah.
makes them
And my
feel kind
mom's
of
an
chaotic.
Aquarius. She's an
Oh,
Aquarius,
that's right.
and
Yeah, yeah.
one thing she that I learned about my rising sign is that you see all sides,
Hmm.
and she is one person who if you don't agree with her side, then you're wrong. And if this is my side and whatever you talking about, she's gonna scream it. She's gonna scream her side because your side doesn't matter. Because it's like for me, we always had an issue where if she did something to somebody and I saw it, and I'm just gonna tell Mama you were wrong because of this. Yeah, it's like okay, just because you're screaming,
don't make it right.
She gets upset because it's like my side. You are supposed to agree with my side. I'm like no, and that's really always been our issue because I'm always when I see her do something wrong, I'm not pointing out in a disrespectful manner. It's just like no, I don't agree with you.
Yeah, that's not right.
She wants you to agree with her. She don't care if it's wrong or right. This is how I go, and you need to go with me. If you're not, F you. So, you can only imagine how the house was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Lisa, how do you feel like that as a mom?
As a mom, look, you better ride with me. You know what? I birthed you, child. So
even if I'm wrong, right?
Even if I am wrong.
But see, this is how it is. This now, what happens is I'm pointing like you do it. No, but this is how it is. Like for me, like for instance, if she would get into it with my aunt, I would see the fight. Or she would tell me, or the argument, or whatever the case may be. I'm not gonna sit there, Mama, you wrong. But when we get on, or get on the phone,
in
Mama,
private,
you know you're wrong. You know you're wrong about that. You know I've never been the one to point. You know when my friends or loved ones are wrong outside, but I'm gonna tell you behind closed door, you're wrong. So
yeah, no, I can agree with that. Like I'm like that now that I've like matured, right? So when I was younger, it was always like, yeah, I'm gonna ride with my mom, or my kids better, not don't come around me telling me what your dad done did for you. No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm the one putting a roof over your head.
Right.
No, but all kidding aside, like obviously, as you get older, you grow as an individual. And now I'm definitely, and I just said this to a friend the other day, was, our friendship is based on honesty, right? So if I see that you're in the wrong, again, I'm not gonna say something to you right there in the moment. But what I will say is I will give you that feedback, right? So that way you understand where I'm coming from, or maybe you understand from a different perspective, right? So I believe the true friendship is being able to tell somebody honestly and truly how you feel about a certain situation and them not get offended by it. Because again, that's true love right there between you and your friend, So
and they know
so
your
that made
heart.
sense. It made sense when I read that about Libra rising because it really it was like a light bulb moment. I'm like, okay, so it kind of was like, oh, so this is why me and my mother clashed flat because she hated that I saw. I'm all about justice and everything being right and not doing other people wrong. And so it really was a light bulb moment when I read about the rising sign. Like, okay, this makes sense to my personality.
And I wonder too, I'd be curious to know what your mom's rising sign is, because I know just on the
Aquarius.
surface. Oh, okay. So she got, okay, so she kind of got that, I don't want to say double bad, but double, because what I was going to say about Aquarius that I know is most Aquarius people that I know, because I know I'm this way, and most of my friends that are people that I know are this way. We don't mind being challenged, but if the challenge comes with, well, I feel this way or I feel that way, then an Aquarius often is quick to shut it down because in our minds, it's not logical. So like if you come to us and say like, hey, you were wrong because you said 2 + 3 is 6 and it's really 5.
Yes.
Then an Aquarius will kind of sit back and go, oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're right. It really, I really did have the math wrong on that. So it's like, I think Aquarius people are more driven by facts than feelings. And I think that's why we get this bad rap for being emotionally attached.
I don't know. My mom,
and maybe that might not be the case with your mom, though. I don't know.
Yeah, she has been wrong with the facts in her face. And I always tell I tell everybody.
I tried to help her out. I tried.
Yeah. And I know this is so bad to say because I love my mom because she's my mom, but I always say like if I didn't know my mom, I wouldn't like her because her personality, it just doesn't mesh well with mine. And she does this one thing when she doesn't agree with you that I really hate. And I'm just like, I hope if I ever get in a relationship, nobody ever does this to me, because I may go to jail. And she does this thing like when I'm telling her she's wrong, she don't agree, she'll tune out and she'll start singing. That drives me crazy. One time she did that in the car with me a few days ago. I was like, if she was somebody, I was just every time she does that. And then what she does, she will sing a gospel song. Now she will sing.
So now you can't get argumentative, or
I did this. I know. I tapped the Leo dramatic tapped in. I'm just like, you lucky you is my mama, because I pray nobody ever does that to me. I pray, because that really that's a trigger for me. So
what if they started to sing one of your songs?
Hey, well, that's a good point, Lisa.
I'm still gonna be mad, because like, where's the proof that you bought it? Now show me that you bought it first, and then I let you. Show me that you downloaded it, purchased it, and then I might not be mad about it.
Like, okay, all right, I'll let it go.
But yeah, and you always ask like, what sign would you stay away from? I don't want to jump, if that's where you're going.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
I never have I don't have a sign that I would stay away from, but always it's something about Aquarius. I'm just like, I don't want my mom again.
Because you
feel that sounds so horrible, because I love her, and just like, I don't want nobody like my mama.
No, and I think that's real though, because that's one of the things. It was either the last episode or the one before that. We were talking about that, the guests and I. I feel like usually when people, because I've done it before, when you have a bad taste in your mouth about a certain sign, is usually based off of one really, really bad experience. And then that person becomes the poster child or the face of that sign. But on the flip side, like, I've had certain experiences, good or bad, with certain signs. And to me, after it happens with like 3 different people, I'm like, no, that's just y'all sign. That's
Yeah, I think I'm at 3 with Aries. I'm at 2 with Scorpio. So I don't know. I'm still not shutting nobody out, Aries. But I'm just saying. And those are just friendships. Those are just friendships. And they all had the same, they all ended the same, where it's screaming at you. They don't want to hear any logical talking. They're screaming and hang up the phone and then never answer the phone again. And I was like, I don't know if I could do that again.
Yeah, Aries are very fiery. They're it's fun. My grandparents are both deceased now, but my grandmother was an Aries and my grandfather was the Leo, and they argued. I think one time for Valentine's Day, I don't know what made him do this, but my grandfather, I remember he got my grandmother like this little cake or something from the store. And I think he got her like a little balloon. And I was like, what's wrong? I was like, is he sick? I'm like, what's wrong with it? I just never, to me, their love language was arguing. So I had never seen them kiss or, I thought they were supposed to argue. So I feel like a combative relationship with a Leo and Aries in my mind. And to your point, or I guess with the example with your mom, it's in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be combative, because I grew up seeing a Leo and an Aries like always clash, bump heads.
Yeah. I don't want combative.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I don't like that.
I don't want combative at all. But I'm at almost my peak with them 3 signs. But I'm still open to it, and that's why when I try to get to know people on a friendship level or whatever, I don't ask people their zodiac signs.
Yeah,
I don't like when people ask me mine.
Even with doing this show, I don't really. I mean, it's interesting conversation, but I don't lead with that. Yeah. What about you, Lisa? Do you have any signs that you run away from, or
Virgos? Definitely Virgos.
Oh, you know what's so funny? Okay, so episode, and Durant, you probably remember, it was episode 3. I did a poll with the Gemini, and I did a poll about the worst signs to date. And at that time, the top two were Gemini and Aquarius. But I'm telling you, had I ran that poll a little bit longer, I would have had a Virgo on that episode too, because everybody lately, these last like 3 episodes, they keep saying how they don't click with Virgos.
Yeah. And the thing is, my mom is Virgo, right? And my mom and I are best friends, right?
Okay.
But yeah, I just had this one experience with one that, oh my gosh, that he just was just too emotional for me. Just, you know, I just wasn't ready for the emotional roller coaster. No, was not.
Wow.
And yeah, and maybe because I was older than him. So again, the emotional maturity kind of came into play. Not saying that he was immature, you know, but there were a lot of things, that he did that were just, you know, just immature. It was just like things that were okay for him to do weren't okay for me to do, and it's just like, okay, like, wait, what are we doing here? And then just one day be happy go lucky, you know, whatever, and then the next day just be all out angry, and I'm like, wait, I don't know where we're going. I don't know what we're doing. So I'm just like, total turn off for me. And just don't ever want to go down that road. And I will definitely ask people like, oh, what sign are you? And if somebody says a Virgo,
you're like, hey, what really? People ask me.
You won't do it?
When people ask me.
Yeah.
So I try not to be hard on Virgos because my Venus sign is in Virgo. So although in Leo, I love like a Virgo. So I try not to be hard on Virgos.
Oh, because you have a little bit of that in you.
Because you have a little skin in the game.
Right.
But please don't forget about me was written about a Virgo. Just a little fun fact.
I never knew that. Really?
Yeah. It was a Virgo experience.
Oh.
So it wasn't horrible. And you know, I've always told people too, like my close friends and all of my relationships have been with Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo. And I've never dated a Capricorn, but one of my best friends is a Capricorn. So all my experiences are with Earth signs. I don't know what it is about them. I don't ask them what their zodiac sign. Those are who I've been drawn to. Yeah, even though I have had 2 Tauruses do me dirty, I've never thought to myself, like, I'm going to stop talking to Tauruses. And, you know, I'm going to leave Tauruses alone. But, you know, I mean, I guess.
Cool. I haven't had any bad experiences with them.
Well, I got dumped by one in the therapist's office. So we could tell a story. We can tell a story. Even after that, I'm still not like gonna, you know, count Tauruses out. That was
that's
one Taurus.
Big that you could not count them out, because a lot of people probably would after that. So
well,
it's funny.
It took me a while.
Oh, to get to that point.
Yeah, it took me a little therapy after that, and it took me. I just wrote my first script about it, so you're gonna see it interacted in my new short film. So you got to get it out somehow, because it's still a little sting in my heart, you know, from that.
Hey, yeah. And I looked up, and Lisa, I don't know if you got a chance to see it. You might not have, because I sent it to you right before we started the show. But I looked that up too, Durant, about the Venus. Because see, when you told me a few months back about the Venus, I was like, I didn't know. I had no idea. So after you sent me the link, I was like, okay, let me look it up. And then I started Googling it, and I was like, it's just so much that I feel like I'll never run out of ideas on this show, because there's so much you can talk about on the, you know, from a zodiac perspective. But my Venus actually is Aries, which is interesting, because when I was reading the summary, it said Venus and Aries people, they're very passionate in relationships, which I feel is true. The hard part is getting me in one, but once I'm in one,
why is that, Mr. Carlos?
I have I don't know if it's standards or if it's just, I don't know, it just bad. Unfortunately, I would say, you know, like since my divorce, my patience, I think I already kind of had bad patience, but after that, it's just really not good. Or sometimes it might just be a situation where it's like maybe good, but it just, you know, in the past, like maybe it wouldn't have worked out or whatever the case. But yeah, I've just never really been. I'll just say I've never really been quick to jump into a relationship. Let me say that, like a serious relationship.
Because we know you got options, I'm sure.
What?
We know you have poet. He's
well, everybody.
He's bald head. He's a poet. That's all. He makes 6 figures. I don't know. I don't know.
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
Let's manifest that. No, I don't.
Right.
I wish I did.
Right? I was just playing. I don't know his finances. I'm just joking.
I wish, but no. I thought that was funny when I saw that definition, and it said their Venus and Aries people are open and enthusiastic. And it says their enthusiasm can be contagious. And another thing I thought was hilarious, and this was just one site that I found, but it said they're empathetic when it comes to connecting with others, which is so funny because if you just go by Aquarius is always said to not be empathetic. So I guess it's saying in relationships I am. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. That could explain my Venus sign. Could explain why I go years without even dating, because they say the Venus and Virgos are like they stay single the longest because they're very. I hate the word picky. I'm not picky. It's just like I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever happen for me. So I've kind of shut love like off. So I haven't even been on a date in like 3 years.
Not shut it off. Oh, really?
Yeah, I just don't. I've never, in my back of my mind, I've never really believed in love. I write love songs, which is weird.
You don't think it's a real
I think
thing?
it's because of that, and it's also because of the way I was raised. I never saw it growing up. I think that could be it. Everybody say go to therapy. I'm one of those people. I go to therapy. I'm gonna tell you that it's not really like the answer, because therapists got issues too. So they don't. She don't know half the answers to
work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So. It's kind of like I wouldn't say picky. It's just like I just have to feel like what do you call it? Seen and heard, and like it's just hard for people to do that because everybody's in a rush to grind or whatever the case may be. So it's weird. But we're not talking about relationships. I don't know why I went in that.
Well, no, I wanted to just touch on that Venus part because I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's interesting because I didn't expect it to be so accurate.
It's very interesting, yeah.
It was pretty accurate. Lisa, I don't know if you got a chance to
no,
to
I
look at
didn't,
it, but I'd be curious to see what yours is if you do. But I do have a question for you though, Lisa, in regards to relationships. So. And this, I swear, this just hit me today because I wasn't even thinking of talking about this on the podcast. But I saw this interview today with, do you know the gospel group Mary?
Mm-hmm.
Erica Campbell, one of the sisters. So she was doing this interview about her husband. I didn't realize this because I follow them, but I don't follow them like that, if that makes sense. And she was saying that she and her husband have this church, and she actually struggled with him, the concept of him being a pastor, because she said she never wanted to be a pastor's wife. And she said she kind of wanted like a street guy that was kind of respectable. And she had that. She felt like she had that until he kind of made this transformation to be, like wanted to be a pastor and all that. So she talked about her mother-in-law, and she was saying how, and she calls them, which I've heard a lot of people do that. They'll say like in love instead of in-law. Well, she called her mother-in-law, and she was saying how basically, like, I guess 20 years ago or whenever I forgot how long she said they've been married. She kind of wanted to impress the mom. And it kind of got me to thinking, because I'm 38, and if I were to get married again, I don't see myself, and I want to get your take on this, Lisa, because you seem like you would, from your posts and stuff, like you have a very close relationship with your dad. So would you say you're a daddy's girl?
Yes, very much.
You are? Okay. Okay, so my question is, at this phase in life, does a guy have to get your dad's blessing to marry you?
I would definitely say it would play a part in it.
Okay.
Just because of my relationship with my dad and how much I respect him. But at the same time, like how much I respect my mom too, you know.
Right.
But yeah, definitely I would say it wouldn't be a end all be all, but it would be something that I would want my dad and my future husband to have, you know, a connection or some kind of, you know, relationship together. And then like, yeah, that my dad's approval does mean a lot to me.
Right.
So
Right. Okay. I was just wondering because I thought, and not to sound disrespectful, but I know like, you know, however long it was when I first got married, I was in my 20s. And so at that time, you think, or I thought at least, with the mindset of, oh, like, you know, you want to, I don't want to say impress the parents, like you kind of like trying to suck up or nothing like that. But, you know, you want them to have this good thought of you. You want to be approved by them. And again, it's not a disrespectful thing, but I feel part of me feels like I'm like, well, dang, at 38, like, hey, I hope you like me, but as long as she likes me, like I'm here. So we're just gonna have to figure this out. But
I will definitely say, like, my dad is so happy-go-lucky, like, and
oh, really?
like, he
Okay.
makes friends with anybody. Like,
Oh,
you
that's
can be a
cool.
stranger walking down the street, and he'll be out there, like, he'll come here to my house because he lives in Memphis, and he'll come to my house, and, you know, I took the dog around the block for a walk, and I met your neighbor over here, and I met your neighbor over there, and I'm like, I've lived here for 6 years, and I've never even met these people before. Like, no. I'm like, please don't tell these people where I live because I don't need them coming to my house thinking I'm friendly just like you.
Right.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you probably wouldn't have that issue then. I'm guessing.
No, my dad is definitely he likes he just sees the good in everybody, you know, and everyone that
That's
he
cool.
meets. He just has always this happy-go-lucky spirit, and that's just who my dad is, you know. So
Hey,
yeah.
well, y'all dads out there, y'all need to be more like Lisa's dad because I'm sorry, the whole rifle under the couch on the first day.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never
No,
had that
yeah.
done to me, but I know some guys that do that.
But you want to know what? I will tell you this: anybody who dates my daughter, that will be me. With the
Oh,
rifle
really?
underneath my couch. Yeah, no, yeah,
Uh-oh.
no. I'm not playing with my children. Nope.
Okay. So would you say that you're more protective over your daughter than your sons?
Yeah, very much so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like it's so funny because my daughter, she's, you know, preteen, so she's kind of going through that, like, I may like you today, I may like you tomorrow, you know, kind of deal.
Right.
Where my son, who's 11, he does not care where we're at. We could be out with his friends, you know, with all of his friends, and he'll come up to me and give me a kiss on my cheek. Oh, I love you, mama. I love you, mama. And just he has no like he is not scared to show any but kind of affection in front of anybody over his mom. Like he loves me to death. And you know, that kind of comes hard with, you know, trying to date and having him in my life because he's just always any kind of interaction with any guy. Why are you talking to my mom for? Why are you looking at my mom? You know, he just doesn't want anybody around me.
Right.
So.
I mean, I can understand that. Like because my mom has been married to my dad since, you know, forever, since I was like 2. And so but sometimes if I'm with her, and I might not say anything now, but when I was younger, I was definitely more vocal about any guys that I saw that were trying to flirt with her. And I would be like, what is he doing? Or like, what is he? But now I might just kind of give him a side eye and I might not say anything, but it's still the same thought in my head.
My son will definitely say, why are you talking to my mom? Like, what do you want? Like, and it's just, and he's so bold, just like that. Like, what do you want with my mom? Why are you talking to her?
He doesn't care.
Nope.
Wow, that's funny.
Well, why didn't I get the wedding talk? I mean, the married talk. I mean, gay people get married too. Okay?
No, I wasn't.
Hey, that's that Leo. That's that Leo coming out of him. Like,
right.
What about me? What happened to that? No, I'm kidding.
No. And I promise. The funny thing was, that wasn't even a question that I had on my brain on the show. And then when I watched that thing about Erica Campbell, and then I don't know why my brain makes weird associations sometimes. So when she was talking about her mother-in-law, then I immediately thought of you, Lisa, because I was thinking, oh yeah, because I've seen you post, a lot of pictures with your dad, and it seems like y'all have a really good relationship. So I just thought, I was like, oh, that might basically what Erica Campbell was feeling about her husband's mom. I kind of thought to myself, I was like, I wonder what guys feel that way towards your dad. So that's what made me kind of think of the question. But yeah, it's anybody. Yeah, I mean, because hey, parents are parents and they're protective. So
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
I love it. All right, so dang, I can't believe an hour has gone by already. So before we close out, I play this game with everybody. So Durant, I know you know. Lisa, I didn't get a chance to tell you how this game works, so I'll just go ahead and debrief you here for a second. But basically, this game is called Dead in the Water. So you each will get 5 questions. It's a this or that game. So I'll give you 2 things or 2 choices. So like, let's say it's like chicken or fish. Then you would tell me which one that you would throw away or throw back in the water. So where normally you would tell me which one you like the best, in this game, you tell me the one that you like the least.
Virgos. I'm just joking.
Throw them away. Doesn't matter any sign. Just throw them away.
Be careful what sign you hate. Be careful what sign you hate. Since you have kids, either your kids are going to marry one or you're going to end up with
my
one.
son is a Virgo. My son is a Virgo.
He is?
Yes, and he's emotional too.
Really?
Yeah.
They're always like so stoic to me. Like
I was just about to say that too. I don't really know them to be emotional in that way, but that's
like
my
friend. And it's a woman too. We've been friends since like 1994. I probably have seen her cry 3 times. That's it. Like I don't ever. And one was when someone died. So she's like not emotional at all.
So my son has a theme song. So when he gets in his emotions, if we're in the car, I will play Carl Thomas Emotional for him.
So what is his reaction when you play it?
That song's gonna be a trigger when he gets older.
Right.
He gets so mad at me. I'm not emotional. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. I think you are.
You say so, right? Oh, that's hilarious.
Parenting 101. Call me for some more tips. No, I'm just joking.
I know, right?
All right.
Hey, I love it. That's funny. Okay. All right. So let's see. We will go ahead and get started with the game. And Lisa. Had to pick. Beach or pool? Which one are you throwing back in the water?
Pool.
I figured you were going to say that because most of your vacation pictures are by the beach. But I was like, I'm going to just throw this in just to see what she says. But okay. All right. So confrontation or avoidance?
Confrontation.
Ah, okay. Which makes sense with our discussion today. Okay, so I can see that. Okay. Okay, so confidence or resilience, which one would you get rid of?
Resilience.
Oh, really? Okay. You think it's more important than be confident?
Correct.
Okay. Which I can see that because I feel like in order to be resilient, you have to have a certain level of confidence. So I can see that. It makes sense. Okay. So I'm really curious to see what you're going to say on this one. Drake or Kanye West?
Kanye.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kanye. I got enough cray-cray in here. I don't need another.
You don't need his extra cray-cray. Yeah, he's a lot. Yeah. Okay. All right. So last one. Slurpee or smoothie? You said smoothie?
Slurpee. getting rid of the Slurpee.
Oh, Slurpee. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I probably would say Slurpee too. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I had one recently. It's too sugary for me.
I was just about to say that. I was like, as a kid, it was cool, but now I'm like,
Yeah.
Then after I drink it, I'm gonna get a headache, and that's like just smoothies just safer. Just All right, Durant. So these
I'm nervous.
questions
You know, I'm always
are
nervous.
for you. No, they're good. I try to tailor them to, each of the guests. So I think you'll like these questions, but let's see.
We'll see.
All right. So rehearsal or recording? Which one would you throw away?
I would throw rehearsal. I love being in the studio.
Okay.
Well, is that what you meant? Like recording?
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually love that more than anything right now.
Really? The recording process?
I used to love performing more, but now it's studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Louisiana or Tabasco when it comes to hot sauce?
Tabasco.
I'm with you. Yeah. Louisiana too.
I got me a few.
I'll eat it. Yeah, I like Louisiana better too.
Louisiana and some popcorn.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I love that. All right. Ari Lennox or Summer Walker? Who are you throwing away?
Well, I want to start by saying I love everybody. But music-wise, I connect more with Summer, so I'm going to say Ari.
Really? You too, Lisa?
Yep, I agree.
Really? Now, I love them both, but if I had to get rid of one, I probably would say Summer.
That's understandable.
I love Shea Butter album.
Summer Walker just brings emotion to her song, and I remember seeing her perform when she was pregnant and she started crying. I became like a huge fan at that moment because first of all, she was hitting the notes really while she was crying, but it's just like this is what it's all about, your emotions in your songs, and a lot of people don't do that. I think that's why I'm more drawn to her.
Well, I can definitely agree with you on that. I do think of the two, she is more vulnerable with her emotions. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Now, Ari Lennox can sing though.
Oof, yeah, she can. Yeah. I love her. Okay. All right. So, rum or gin?
Well, I like to start off by saying that I'm alcohol free because alcohol don't do well with me. But no.
Oh,
but
okay.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just saying.
Oh.
I had brunch recently and I just did not feel well for a few days after that. But I'm gonna say gin because gin makes me just.
Yeah, I've just gotten to the point recently where I can drink some drinks that have gin in them and they taste all right, but
that's a headache.
I love rum. Yeah, yeah. Gin headaches are not cool.
Ew.
All right. The last question: ad-libs, background vocals.
I am going to throw ad-libs away.
Oh,
and yes. Even though I do a lot of ad-libs, I do. But I think background vocals add like another layer to a song. Like if I had more of a budget, I would do more background vocals, like more like interesting ones. But I ain't got the budget for that. But sometimes, like, you listen to songs like Mariah Carey, 4th of July or something, you can just listen to her background vocals and it's a whole song. And that's what I really love about background vocals. They add like a different type of layer. Ad-libs is just like, it's just screaming out. Yeah, it's not necessary.
Okay.
It is, but it's not.
Right. Okay. Cool. Well, hey, that sums it up. So that is a wrap for the episode. And thank y'all both so much for joining me tonight on the show. Oh, one question, I guess, before we end that we didn't get to talk about. I know we talked about the signs y'all don't like, but if you have a favorite zodiac sign, what would it be? And it's okay if it's your own. And Lisa, I'll start with you.
I would definitely say I probably click more with Tauruses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
nice. Durant, how about you?
For me, I would say cancer. And the
They're
reason
one
I
of my
say that,
favorites too.
yeah, I always say that I have just earth sign friend, but I do have a cancer friend. We've been friends since 2008. And the reason I say cancer is because he's one of the most reliable people in my entire life. Even from my mother to my brother and sister, he's been like the most consistent, reliable person. Like, for instance, I know, like, if something broke down, he would either try to get me some kind of resource to help me, or he'd try to help me himself. He's the person I know will be there for me. So I would say cancer for that. Okay. I always say, because he's a straight guy, I always say, like, if I married somebody, I hope to marry like a gay version of him. but I don't know how that makes him feel, but I didn't know if that made him uncomfortable. No, he's cool with it, but I was just like, if I marry somebody,
you would want it to be.
Like
Yeah. Cancers are very I feel like they're very dependable, and they're like good ride or die people.
Yeah. It was one time I was like, I need a lawnmower, because my lawnmower broke. And he was like, okay, I'll be over in a few minutes. And I was like, what?
Oh, damn.
these people over here trying to sleep with me, they don't even do this. Like, what's going on here?
He brought a whole
and you know, he also is like who I look, and that's when I come to as far as dating, because it's like I have this friend over here who's constant and true, and you think you've been a half-ass, he's just my friend, and you think you've been
no. Yeah, they have to at least come to that level.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, I would say cancer today.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, again, thank y'all so much for joining. I really loved this episode. It was a lot of fun. And make sure, again, if you've not already done so, those who are watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also catch us on the go on any audio streaming platforms. Okay. And make sure you download Durant's music. If you need
buy it. Don't download it.
Download as in purchase. Not
me and Carlos trying to get some residual coins from this.
Hey, right. Right. Purchase, buy, yes. And if you need any travel tips, you probably should reach out to Lisa, because I'm telling you, she goes on the most amazing vacations. Definitely thank y'all for watching. Next week, I'm gonna have a Pisces and a Scorpio, so a little bit across the board. So it's going to be a
little water energy.
Show. Yeah, a little water energy next time. So
is the Scorpio mean or nice?
You know what? So I to be honest, I don't know him that well, but he does not seem like a typical Scorpio. So I'm really curious.
Oh, I'm interested in
to do that episode, because I want to kind of dig into, like, is he really kind of like stereotypical Scorpios or not? Because he doesn't seem like he is, just on the surface.
Yeah, they never do.
Yeah,
we love everybody. No, I'm kidding. I love all you Scorpios.
yes, but yeah, that's next week. So make sure y'all tune in, and thanks for watching. I appreciate it.
All righty.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, of course. You're welcome. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Durant.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.